here since December 4th. There's been a transformation of landscape here from the somber gray of summer to a vibrant green. It fits well with what we've been doing here. We're going to bring back life here. Here we go through the bridge. We enter Gaza here through the same fence that was breached on October 7th. You can still see here part of the fence on the side. As we get in deeper, you can see destruction clearly.
You see two main things when you get closer to Khan Yunis from Israel. It's all destroyed and it's all silent. Some will say too silent.
The structures you see here, we use them for IDF needs, protecting our path.
Hello, good morning. We're here to meet the 55th Brigade's commander, a reserve paratroop brigade which is on the front line since October 7th. From what we see here, from the places you've taken, to me, everything looks destroyed. What remains to be done?
There's a lot of work ahead. This is just one area among many that we've succeeded in cleaning completely. There are a lot of similar areas here. Some are densely populated, with the enemy hidden. There's a lot of work still to be done.
Is it possible to spot the enemy? We understand they often operate underground.
Sure, they hide underground, but we eliminate them underground as well. They also emerge from underground, and we meet them in a lot of clashes that we have with them above ground, and we also kill them above ground.
It seems the intensity of the conflict in Gaza is lessening. Have you received orders to slow down?
No, absolutely not. We're fighting here every day at full strength. We have goals that we are setting all the time for the future. We're accelerating our efforts for the best achievements against our enemies.
Except for Oded, the commander, all the soldiers are reservists. All of them left their lives behind after October 7th. And since then, they are here. Naturally, some of them feel exhausted after more than 100 days of fighting. But others among them, dozens of brigade soldiers, signed a letter this week in which they demanded not to stop the fighting until all the goals of the war are achieved.
This letter is just one example among many that I get from hundreds of soldiers and officers in the brigade. It's clear to everyone that we need to finish here as much as necessary, with the best results that we can achieve, so that October 7th will not happen again. Nothing close to it. We don't have any dilemmas on that. It's clear for us that we're doing everything we need to do to achieve our goals.
After a month and a half of fighting, how exhausted are you?
Of course we feel it, but it's not something we aren't trained for. Also, during the deals, we persisted. We experienced the October 7th massacre in the southern communities. We saw what happened there. It gives us the feeling of duty, responsibility. There's a lot of work to do. It's not over yet.
We don't see the end here yet. Until we reach our goals and finish everything that has to be done, we will not move from here. The mission here is huge. We feel that it gives us support to continue. Everyone supports us. And we are here to complete the mission for as long as needed.
We didn't come here to leave now, before the right time. We came here to win.
The IDF has a lot of tactical achievements against Hamas in the last 3 months of fighting. The top of it, control of approximately 60% of the Gaza Strip, and a significant decrease in launches towards Israel. But Hamas is continuing to fight and to hit the IDF soldiers only just last week in a barrage of 25 rockets which were launched towards Netivot. Understand why this causes frustration among the public? After 3 months of fighting, a month and a half of you in Gaza, and they still succeed to launch large barrages?
I can definitely understand the frustration. But you need to come and see in order to understand just how big our achievements are here as the IDF. It will take a lot of time until we defeat Hamas. We understand that, so we will fight as long as necessary.
Are we in Khan Yunis because the IDF believes it can find Sinwar here, and also other senior Hamas leaders? Do you know where to find them?
No, but we believe they're somewhere here, hiding underground, and we'll get to them.
The silence in the area of Khan Yunis demonstrates that the fighting has moved to a different stage. These reserve soldiers are ready to stay as long as needed, despite the high prices they pay on the front line and at home. They just hope their leaders know how they want this war to end, and no less important, that there will be someone to take care of them when they come back home.
These young women have already spent 3 weeks of intense fighting in Khan Yunis. After a well-deserved and long-awaited 48-hour rest, they return to complete their mission because the forces on the ground need them. Is there something personal in the vest?
I have a photo of my parents somewhere.
They know that you have this on you?
No, but on the other hand, they know that they're always present with me, and that's something important.
Inside, the special forces of the 55th Company are impatiently waiting for them. Team Sapir fighters have their eyes on the battlefield, watching from the sky, spotting enemy threats around IDF forces fighting on the ground. These young fighters are present on the ground, side by side with the fighters of the different units, as close as possible to the front line. This time, the mission is at the heart of Khan Yunis. They already know this area of Gaza perfectly, the kind of fighting that is taking place over there, and what they have to do. But they must not forget, even for a single moment, that Gaza is the kind of place which can always surprise you, and nothing is really predictable. Their base is in this building, where they will be staying for several weeks, operating under orders from the battalion commander for the entire duration of their mission. These team members must be very close to each other, in perfect harmony, practically like a family.
Yara comes from the United States, so we use a lot of English words between us.
I've never seen Yara start eating without first looking for trash bags. She always looks out for the one who didn't have time to eat, or the soldier who was on guard duty.
I've been living in Israel for a little under 3 years.
You came to join the army?
Yes,
What kind of girl were you in California?
the same as I am here.
If we told your university professors that this is what you're doing today, what would they say?
They wouldn't be surprised, and they would say it suits me.
Then there is Hilai, but you will cut that in editing, otherwise she will kill me. Hilai loves sushi, and she marked her birthday while we are here, and we sent her sushi all the way here.
It's true that it took a week, but I still ate it. When I'm 80 years old, I won't remember much. I will always remember my 20th birthday in Gaza. Maya is the one who gives me strength. She comes from Hod HaSharon, in the center. Her father is American, and so she also adds a little accent to this team. Then there's Sapir, our rock star, one of the best female officers I've met in our unit. She hates animals. She can't stand to see even a cat or a dog, even a turtle. She only likes cows.
She's right, I don't like pigeons and chickens either. Here in Gaza, they are huge.
It is an unmanned aircraft that they launch in flight, just like the name Skyrider. These soldiers of the special unit are an integral part of the artillery's know-how to use these devices to collect information on the battlefield. After a year of training, this device enables to achieve the most important goals, the most direct impact on the advancement of ground forces, to provide security to act in a supervised area. But let's be frank, what you see in front of you has not been easy for these women. They had to go through a complicated journey and constantly prove to reluctant officers that they were capable of fulfilling this mission, until they were called in to help and asked to work and fight together with the men. And indeed, even if enormous progress has been made in this area, everything is not decided, and they still have to prove themselves more than a man when they want to be a fighter.
There were times when it didn't work out, or the officers preferred not to take women with them into combat zones, and it was us or no one else. But nonetheless, if we don't work hand in hand in close coordination because we're women, from an operational point of view, it can't work. After a certain period, when they get used to the idea of working with us, and they realize that we're not here to joke around, but to hit where it hurts, the senior officers were actively asking us to be at their side.
These soldiers are already on their second leg in Khan Yunis. They know the area perfectly. They are the eyes of the forces on the ground. They see what they cannot. A soldier can see up to 500 meters in front of them. They can monitor a much wider area.
When we communicate with the officer of the forces who are in operation, we can send him the visuals of the house that they are supposed to take before they attack.
We can detect a dark-colored spot and check what it is. We can really look at an individual coming in front of us, see if it's a man or a woman, or if it's a child.
In the missions they perform on a daily basis, the eyes of the Sky Riders have already saved many lives.
We were on a fairly usual operation in Gaza, and a unit which was close to us was under fire. We didn't see how it started, but we knew we were in the middle of an enemy attack. However, the story wasn't over when the missile was fired.
Our goal from this moment is to search everywhere, to check everything, to see where the missile was fired from.
For us, it's a chase. We won't give up until we get our hands on these people. We kept looking everywhere, in the alleys, in the thickets, under the trees, and finally we spotted the marks of another missile fired from the same building a few seconds later.
What could you see?
The firing trail. When you fire an RPG, for example, there are flashes that are visible. So we've been trained to know how to respond to this type of situations in a few seconds and to respond immediately.
You saved your fellow soldiers?
Yes, we try.
It gives a good feeling, doesn't it?
Yes, it's fantastic. We feel that they feel safer. We feel that the mothers of these soldiers are a little more reassured.
While the missions follow one another in Khan Yunis, we must not forget that two of these young women who are here were very lucky on October 7th. That day, some of the fighters from the Sapir units found themselves stranded in Nahal Oz, where they had only been stationed for 2 days. When did you understand that you were fighting to save your life?
Right away, I believe. A terrorist intrusion alert, I had never heard or experienced it.
Did you think that this was the end?
I tried not to think about it, but of course, we think about it at the time. And we comforted each other all the time.
The head of their unit, Lieutenant Aidan Nimri, fell while protecting her soldiers. Since the start of the war and the fateful day on October the 7th, these fighters have not had a single minute of respite, including to mourn the loss of their officer. And here, in the middle of fighting in Gaza, they do not forget the memory of courageous Aidan, their leader. For Aidan Nimri, peace be to her soul. Sapir team fighters forget nothing of the events of October the 7th, during the fights either. This is precisely what they experienced on that Black Saturday. These 20-year-old female fighters wanted to be there and take part in the fighting.
Being a fighter is a mentality. It's a state of mind, someone who will always try to find a way out. And that's really what we do. This is also what I demand from my soldiers, that they stay independent and that they are able to carry their gear however heavy it may be, and that they may also maintain sanitary and hygienic conditions, all of which are not obvious for young women.
And how do you do it without taking a shower?
We do without.
Some people think we're princesses. Are you okay? Do you feel safe? How do you manage without washing? We have everything we need, along with everything the people send us. I have plenty of sanitary supplies.
Another spy plane takes off in the Gazan skies, and the young women of the Sapir team continue their fight. And boy or girl, it doesn't matter to them. They must, for now, continue to be the eyes of their comrades on the Gaza front. This is their mission, and no one will take it from them.
Being in a unit of fighting girls is something awesome, and any girl who wants to do it can do it. There's no difference.
כן, עדי, אבל זה לא קצת כאילו סרטים המצוירים שהדמויות הולכות באוויר כי הן לא קולטות שיש תהום מתחתיהן וברגע שהן קולטות את זה הן נופלות?
וואי, אני חושבת שתיארת את האנושות. לא נעים לי להגיד לך, אנחנו כולנו כאילו בסוף נבין את זה וניפול.
For over 100 days, Adi Negev, a resident of kibbutz Nir Oz, has stayed at her home.